everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Playing It By Ear. I am your host, Rodrick Fox. I want you to take these next few seconds to either subscribe if you haven't. Go ahead and share it, comment, like, because today is going to be another amazing episode, like I always say. I have a special guest on this episode, somebody I've known all of their lives. I know everything about them, I believe. I don't. But anyway, I want y'all to give a big YouTube welcome to my sister, Sharee Smith. It still feels weird to say Smith. But anyway, Sharee, what's going on?
Not too much. What's going on?
Out of everything. We've been fighting to make this happen.
Yeah.
And finally we're here. It's been a great weekend so far because we're going to talk about all those things that she has going on, that I have going on, that we have going on. So, I want you to really relax and enjoy. So we're going to have fun this episode. So I always ask this question to my guests to kind of set things up, my icebreaker. Who is Sharee Smith? Somebody that doesn't know you. And how would you briefly introduce yourself?
Oh, wow. So I would say Sharee Smith is a wife, hence the Smith.
Oh, boy.
That feels so uncomfortable to say. I would say that I'm a sister. I think I'm an awesome sister. I also would say that at my heart, I'm a worshiper.
Okay.
I hadn't always been there. I've always had a desire for the Lord, but I've evolved into someone that really wants to seek and evoke the presence of the Lord.
So you all heard, I don't know about the awesome sister part, but I guess I agree with everything else. Listen, I'm going to say this. We're going to start off. Sharee, say your full name.
My full government name is Andrea Sharee Fox-Smith.
I don't know if many people know you by Andrea.
Not a lot of people don't. When someone says Andrea, they are always like, who it is?
So why do you go by Sharee?
Well, you should know this story.
It
is a family thing. Apparently, funny story, my mom has always told me that when she named me, my grandmother could not pronounce Andrea. And so the family just started calling me Sharee, and it's taken on a life of its own. I don't even remember a lot of times my first name is Andrea because I'm so used to Sharee.
Right. I remember it's like people be like Andrea, and I'd be like, who? Oh, yeah. Sharee. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting thing. I want to talk about. We try to always do like past, present, future, timeline, but we can kind of jump around because you got some interesting things going on. So, what started this for you? I know all this information, y'all. But I want to hear your perspective. How did this start? What started this for you?
So specifically music.
Yes. Yes. But even the core of who you are, I want to know it all.
Okay.
I think we got time.
Okay. So I'll start with music.
Okay.
Music is a family thing.
Yeah.
I was born into it. So I grew up with my family group. They sing traditional quartet. Shout out to the Golden Bells in Meridian, Mississippi. And so I grew up traveling with them. And I would get in front of the mic when I was old enough in front of my mom and sing into the knob on the mic stand.
Yep.
And so
we got footage of that, y'all.
So, to put in this plug, I've always been energetic.
Lit.
Some people think that's not like, or that's a on and off thing. I've always been that way.
And I'm like the total opposite.
He is.
Most people think I don't care about nothing, and I really do. I just don't always express that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've always been energetic, but I was singing in the mic stand knob, and then there was the transition that happened within the group, and before that transition, I had one song that I could sing.
What was that?
He was like our uncle, Leroy Kirsch. He used to lead a song.
I know.
And so when he stepped, I think You Can't Stop Me Now was the song.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so because he stepped out of the background to lead the song, I got that opportunity to step into the I just caught that. I got the opportunity to step into the background. And so when that transition with the group happened, I just stayed in that space. And so it really built up my confidence singing and learning all things about singing. So that's where that started. And then as I got older, I love quartet, bleed quartet. But as I got older and got introduced, into new styles of music, I learned that I loved contemporary. I loved all kind of genres. And so I stepped out of the group and developed my own group.
Sure. Hold up. You're going too fast. Slow down. Okay.
Well,
so I like to kind of throw this before you transition to that part. Schooling.
Okay.
How was that? And I want you to talk specifically to how did you, from your perspective, because I have mine. By the way, y'all, this is my blood sister. Like,
yeah.
Literally, we got the same mom and daddy. This ain't my play sister. For those that don't know, a lot of y'all know. But how did schooling coming up in the group mesh? Like the singing, traveling, we did a lot of that. Growing up, going to school. I'm talking about like elementary, middle, high. So how was that for you? Growing up, how did that go?
It's interesting because growing up, you were kind of on autopilot. Like you didn't really pay attention to it really affecting you because it was just what you did. You would go to a program, get back in the, as they say, wee hours of the morning and get right back up and go to school. Or you on the bus doing your homework or studying for a test. And so,
and not school bus, we talking about like the bus traveling to the event. Just to be clear. Yeah.
So you on the bus doing those things. So I didn't really at the time notice anything or feel anything. It was just what you did. But when the group started slowing down a little bit and I started stepping into other things and looking back over those times,
how did we do that?
You're like, how did I do that?
I remember going to like rehearsal or going to rehearse in the middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and get back 12, 1, 2, and get up, go to school the next day. And to this day, that's like a part of what I do. Like, I don't do it as much as I used to, but it's definitely like a thing. Like you can't do that. Or when people say I can't do that, I'm like,
you're like, yes, you can.
I mean, maybe they can't, but we were used to doing traveling and functioning, like that.
And then I want to say this, like it's school and it's traveling with the group, but it's also your normal church responsibility. It's like you were dealing with a lot, and we've always been heavily involved in our church in some type of leadership or servant capacity. So you were navigating all of those things on top of extracurricular activities at school. I was in cheerleading, and so those have practices, those have games and stuff. So it was a lot. But I want to say something to what you just said. You said, like, I still do that, maybe not to the same extent that you used to. I think that's important because sometimes when you're so used to something, it might not be the best situation, but you get in autopilot. You don't know how to do the opposite or choose better. Like you're so used to just running like a well-oiled machine that if you need to take a break or you need to say no, you're so used to not doing that, you don't know how to show up in.
I had a couple things happen that, kind of were, boop, you need to stop. And plus, my body don't function.
And that's another thing. Age will be like, girl, go sit down.
So it's funny that, hearing it from you, because I am older than you by a few years.
Not a few.
It's a few years. It's not that much. So we kind of grew up I always say we grew up in separate time. Like when I was a teenager, you were young. So we grew up in like different spaces. When you got the teenage years, I was grown. So it was kind of like we were there together, but we were not there together. Like out there. We was just different parts of life. So I just wonder how the traveling bothered you. I ain't say bothered. That's not the right word, but affected you, or how did you look at it? Because it was just normal. Like, for us, we would always do it. And it was like I said, when I got in college was when I was like, I know what I was going to say. I forgot. I had a coach. I played football. Yes, I did.
Yes, he did.
I did.
Come on,
it was pretty good. Wait, I know you did not. Edit that out, please. Anyway, I had a football coach. We used to we had choir rehearsal on Thursday, and after every practice, he was like, "You going to church? Y'all must go to a different kind of church." And I didn't really understand at that point in time, church service was on Wednesdays, but I didn't go. I went to just choir rehearsal, so he always used to mess with me about that. I just remember that. So, yeah. Elaborate. So you graduate high school, go to college. Go ahead into now we kind of.
Okay, so I've graduated. Wait, where am I?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know we kind of progressing after high school. How did you? Okay, what was next after? Because by the time you graduated, I was, a little farther on in life. So what were your experiences there? Kind of keep going before sincerity. Oh well, but it was something else before that. But go ahead.
Okay. What was before sincerity? You remember something? I don't know.
Wasn't another name?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I graduated high school.
I told y'all.
He think he know.
Go ahead.
But I graduated high school, went to junior college. That was something because I actually wanted to go off to college.
You did?
Yeah.
Where you wanted to
go to Starkville, Mississippi, to go to Mississippi State and be
go Bulldogs.
On campus Bulldog. But
so why that didn't happen?
That didn't happen because just to be honest, the responsibility of the group. Yeah. So it was kind of like, how would you stay here?
Yeah.
If you're up there.
And that's good you say that because a lot of our people, hopefully, that are listening know kind of what we're referring to as the responsibility to a ministry. That's a traveling ministry group and balancing your personal life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, those are a lot of sacrifices that are made. Mm-hmm. So one reason you didn't go off was to be able to remain in that.
Right. And be present and fulfill all those. So
I didn't know you wanted to go to Mississippi State.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to go off to Starkville. So that didn't happen. I ended up coming to, after I graduated junior college, I just did state branch in Meridian. So it was kind of like offered, like, well, you still get the best of both worlds,
and the irony is you can't do both.
Right.
Why, even though you do all these things to try to appease everybody, because that's what it is, you still can't do it.
Right.
But go ahead.
So I was in my college years, and like I said, my awareness of all the genres of music started to come. Because I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but when you grow up in a specific genre, you kind of like are immune to everything else that's out there. It's like I only knew music to the degree of quartet, which I loved, but it's like it's so much other things out there. And so I got introduced to those genres, and I realized like, hey, I bleed quartet, as you would say. I love quartet, but I also have a passion for these other styles of music that don't fit my family group.
Right.
What am I going to do?
Right.
And so it was funny. The name you were referring to before sincerity was Genesis.
Genesis.
The beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning.
In the beginning. Yeah.
So, and Genesis was my church friends.
Right.
Like we would sing in the choir together. And so one day I was like, well, we sound good and we hold our parts in the choir. Let's step out and do our own thing. And so
rebellious spirit.
It was a thought that I just sat on. But my aunt, Dorothy Wooten.
Woo woo.
Yeah,
I hope she don't watch that. Go ahead.
So my aunt actually had a program. She's a promoter. So she promotes externally and she promotes within her church. She had a program and she asked me to sing. And I was like, whoop, this is my ticket, And so the girls and I got together. We did that program. It was received really well. And so I was like, ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
This is something we can take on. So then I started doing the balance of the two.
Yeah. Shout out, just put a pin there. Shout out to my aunt, Dorothy Wu. We were privileged to grow up around a lot of professional quartet groups. She used to bring them in. I mean, you name it. Any proper quartet group that you've ever seen on a national platform, we actually had a chance to. We were younger, so it wasn't like we were hanging out, but we were around them, and they knew us to some degree. So it's just always a it's always a good thing to pay homage to that. I learned so much from that, and just how to be around, and sometimes to be visible and learn and not be over in the way, stuff like that. So shout out to Miss Wu.
Yeah, shout out.
And look, funny story. We call her. We both call our aunt Miss Wu.
Yeah. Which confuses
which
people.
Which is so weird. It's so weird when I think about it. So, but she taught us in school.
Right.
So
she didn't want to make a difference between us and the other kids.
Right. She didn't want us to be calling that. And I cannot even tell you what I even called her before then. I know what you did, but so that's just a fun fact.
Yeah, because honestly, people are always like, "Who is that?" Or why do you call your aunt? You know, and she's our blood aunt.
Yeah, she's my mom's sister. She was our teacher.
Yeah,
I do want to kind of jump in here. Genesis, y'all saying. So, how did Genesis become sincerity? Like, where was that?
I just made a decision one day that I didn't like the name anymore. It didn't feel like it fit. So I just, it's no deep revelation. I labor before the Lord all night long. Nothing.
You know,
I was just
I've always wanted that.
I just want to change the name.
Okay.
And then I got with the girls, and I want to say, because this was a lot of years ago, but I want to say Aisha came up with
Shout
sincerity.
Out Aisha.
I want to say that's
correct. So who's
correct.
the original members of Genesis?
The original members of Genesis is myself. Okay. Aisha Amos at the time, Heather Viverette, and Michaela Jemison. Michaela. Yeah.
Man, y'all was babies.
Yeah, we really were.
Yeah, I mean.
We really were.
Okay, so we go from Genesis, now Sincerity. Some personnel changes there. So what year were we talking about when Sincerity was like a thing?
Ooh.
Because it's been a long time in the making.
It has. I'm going to go with the date I remember our first like official performance. So I'm going to assume that Sincerity with what happened with Michaela, she moved. Yeah, right. And so when we got on someone else and we started kind of like really trying to walk in that Sincerity thing, I'm going to go with our first performance, which was 2012. So somewhere around 2012, we started taking it. Trying to take it serious. That sounds about
right.
Yeah.
I think it was before that. Yeah, right.
It probably was, right. But you know.
So we're gonna skip through. So you kind of Sincerity was a thing. Take us from that to now, like now.
Okay. So what happened with that is life.
Okay.
I mean, you know, life bring about changes. People are getting married. They're moving. They're doing all this stuff. So.
Growing up?
Yeah, growing up, because like you said, we started when we were very young. So life changes. We had a lot of people move. We had people get married. All the things, different interests. You know, because if I can say this, that was the freedom of Sincerity. No one held each other hostage to it. It's like if you want to step out and do something else, let's go. But we're always going to be connected. Right. We laugh all the time and say we are the gospel side of Destiny Child. It's like we might reunite one time every 10 years, but we still are sisters, you know. And so just life happening is what led me to this solo route.
Okay. Yeah. So anything monumental during that time that, because we're gonna come back to this. You just released a song, Awesome God, and that song has been here for a while. So when was that?
That was Sincerity's song. Yeah. Like when we wanted to go sing, people, as soon as we stepped on the parking lot, they were like, "You sing Awesome God? You singing my song?" So yeah, that was our thing.
At least 13 years old.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it is, I sat in Freedom Rock's parking lot and arranged that song in the car, waiting on a rehearsal.
Wow.
Yeah. I was sitting up there humming. And I was like, man, you know, this sound good. Walked straight in a rehearsal, like, y'all, let's try this.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That's where it came. And of course, it's been updated and stuff. But that was the core of it, sitting in a church parking lot in my car.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of those times I don't remember. Like, I'd be like, "Oh, that happened? Was I there?" You were like,
yeah, you were.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, which kind of before we get into the single, cause I really want to talk about that, but I want to talk about some things presently. Like, what is your creative process? Like, I always tell people, Sharee is really the talented one out of me and her. Like, I do stuff, but talent-wise, she is, she's a little stubborn, but whatever. So she's a great songwriter. She was probably one of my favorite songwriters. So, like, how does that work for you? What's that creative process?
It is very all over the place, just to be honest. I don't have one set formula. I could be inspired and just hear lyrics, write them down, have no idea about the concept of music. I could hear music, but have no idea about the lyrics. I could hear it all together at one time. I can go years and not hear anything, and in a matter of a day, write 6 songs. So there's no like one side. It's just kind of like wherever I am. And I really get inspired by life. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of my lyrical content is, in a sense, an autobiography, like the old me. Mm-hmm. The first verse starts out talking about grew up singing in the church. My voice was loud, but behind it, the silence was where the pain stood proud, because you grow up in a sense in front of the public. You're always singing. You're always the one that they come to ask to lead a song, but you're trying to figure out life. Sometimes you're struggling with mental health and all these things, but you feel like you can't say that because you got to be the strong one in front of everybody. So it's inspirational. And then, like I said, it comes in different ways. It's just wherever I hear it. Right.
And one thing that, your husband, John, shout out to John.
Yeah, shout out to John.
John, we always, for those who don't know, Sharee is very demanding. Not in a bad way, but when she wants something, I attribute it to her being the baby of the family. But when she wants something to go a certain way, she's kind of very, very adamant. I'm like that too.
Yeah,
but,
so that's why I was like,
Yeah, I mean, so when Sharee writes a song, generally, like, I just play it, and it's like this, I guess a connection. Yeah. And John be like, man, how do you do that? I be like, I just play with, I know how Sharee is, so just listen to what she say and just do that. You're going to be fine. John be like, well, let's do it. He have like creative ideas, and then Sharee be like, no. So it be always fun, and I be like, man, look, she don't know what to tell you, but if you listen, she gonna definitely tell you what you want. So it's always interesting how we like vibe in songs and play, because I just be like, and I'm usually kind of like, I hate to say this ain't bad, I'm usually the one ready to go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
most
know.
Of the time. We know. Like, as soon as we can get this done, the better everybody gonna feel about it. And she want to go this way. Except for most times, sometimes, but I'm gonna say, okay, let's just play it this way. And she kind of knows. Sharee is very musical, but she'll say, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Like, I don't know how to name it.
No, she don't know how to say it nicely.
Sometimes, yeah. But I think artists feel that.
I do.
Yeah. I think when you hear what you hear, I want you to help me get that.
Not your version.
Not yours. It's what I hear. You're partnering with my vision.
So that's always, that creative process is always interesting, I'll say. So I want to kind of jump into Awesome God. It's been released.
It has, finally.
It has a story behind it. Oh my God. I think me and Sharee was I was so aggravated with her.
And I was aggravated with him.
Oh my God. We are, I think it's just the way siblings are. We are so much alike. Yeah. And we are so different.
Yes, all at the same time.
And I be wanting her to do what I ask her to do. And she don't be.
And sometimes what he asking what I want to do. So I'm trying to figure out.
But since I'm the oldest,
and see, and that's where it come in. It's like, no, the baby is shouting and yelling, trying to claim her part.
Awesome God was released this past. It was supposed to be released on March 28th, but it was actually released. And then I want you to tell, or we can tell it together.
Yeah.
how, because I want to give context to it, and how these things work. There's such a extensive process in all these things. So we've been working. We actually started recording the song almost 2 years ago now. Right after the release of Old Me, basically, which was released in 2023, streaming now.
Yes, please go download.
But anyway, we started working on it. Got some things done because the sisters, the girls were coming in town. So we wanted to have those things done when they got here. We had some fun time. But so we finally got it to this point. So I want you to kind of give a little bit deeper dive into how we got from July of 2023 to now. That's
So like you said, I called the girls.
Were they coming anyway, or you made them? Not made
one
them
was.
Okay.
And so I was like, perfect. If I can get them to come, we're gonna do this thing. And so they flew down. We recorded, had a awesome time, and then I was supposed to, come back rather soon after and record my lead vocals, but I started having all types of issues with my voice. I could be talking normally 1 second and completely silent for the next 3 weeks. And it was I understand that it was warfare now, because every time I would go to the doctor to check everything you could think of to check, everything will always be normal.
Right.
But I was still experiencing this. And so frustration was a part of that 2-year gap.
Yeah.
Discouragement was a part of that 2-year gap. Hopelessness was a part of that 2-year gap, because you wonder, am I going to be able to do this?
Right.
And not even just, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to do this to the extent that I want to? Because I have this limitation. Right. And so it took a long time. We had to reschedule lot of sessions several times.
I was
and sometimes it would be, we set in a date and everything was good, and my voice would go completely out the night before or the morning, and I'm like, I can't do it, because up under doctor's orders, of course, they're telling you not to strain your voice.
Right.
And so it was a lot of emotional roller coasters during that time. And then I remember one day, we set up a session. And I told you, I said, I don't know if I'm going to, something to this extent, it might not be verbatim, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try.
Right.
And that was a shift, because for so long, unknowingly, I was becoming a victim. Like, yes, I cannot sing, I cannot help that, but I was feeling defeated and like I can't, just giving over into all those thoughts. And so I had that I made up in my mind that even if we have to start over several times, even if I go and it don't work, I'm going to go and I'm going to try.
Right.
And that session, I'm sorry, I forgot this part. We did a dummy lead track.
Yeah. Which we were probably going to keep, like, if it was good enough to keep.
Yeah.
And
so I was like telling you, I was like, we can just use that one, because I had just given up by that point. And I came that day in that session and sung the song. And I remember being so proud of it. And I don't know if the audience feels this, especially in like sibling relationships when it's boy-girl. Sometimes guys don't lean in emotionally, so they're not that emotionally available. And so the reason why I say that is that session that I made up in my mind that I was going to try it, you were equally as emotionally affirming.
Right.
You kept telling me, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. And I needed that. Like, sometimes people do not understand how important affirmation is.
It is.
You need somebody to believe in you and push you when you are feeling like you can't do it. So that was a great day. And I remember leaving the session like, I'm proud.
Yeah.
And you were like, you were trying stuff, all kind of stuff, like you really pushed yourself.
Which is actually the final.
Yeah, it's the final take.
Final take.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because during this time, sibling relationship, producer, artist relationship, and all of those things, for me, not just testimony kind of growing. Like Sharee said, I'm not always the best emotional person. I'm like, either you can or you can't, you know, make up your mind. And you know, kind of just experience some things in my life that made me be a little better of a listener. Our relationship is not always verbal. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff she was going through, she wasn't saying. Mm-hmm. So some of that was, for me, was like, you leaving me out here hanging. Yeah. Like, you know, you telling me you can't come, but I don't know why. So now I'm frustrated. Yeah. And, you know, I remember you telling me something was going on with you, and I said, look, I don't understand that, but I need you to explain it to me so I can kind of, you know, help as much as I can. So by that time, which wasn't that long ago, it was this year when we did this. So we went, and that's another kind of encouragement to everybody, don't give up. Yes. Like, things take time. They don't always happen so fast. Everything don't have to be that long, but sometimes, you know, it's just a course of how things go. So kind of learning and understanding some things she was going through, and trying to take as much load off of her as you know, I would call or I send, hey, what you think about this? She might not respond. She might respond. And then I had to realize some of that was probably overwhelming.
It could be.
Because I'm like, I have a bunch of ideas. I'm like, hey, what you think about this? And I'm not saying we got to do it this way. But I need you to respond so I can so had to work through all that.
I love those two words, work through.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. So when she actually came, matter of fact, before that, we had a session here that got canceled. And then we had another one that happened. And you said you couldn't do it. I was like, well, let's just give it a try. And then the next one, I think maybe those two kind of built us up to that point to where you know, she was okay. So, and you know, it's just one of those things. It's growth, and I think it's a good thing to see that, you know, even for you. Most people say I can be very, I don't know, hard.
You can be. I would agree with most people.
You know, wouldn't look for a cosign.
I just felt like it needed an amen at that moment. It was given amen.
So like I said, I can be very task driven. Either you can or you cannot. Yeah. You know, and the middle stuff really. So, but just like me learning that, and you know, it was a good thing. So when you were able to do that, I was like, okay.
It was a learning curve all the way around, because mind you, for me on my side, while I'm trying to produce this music, I am also in my career field, dual. I'm working an actual job that is very demanding. So a lot of the silence that he was talking about,
so mad.
Like a lot of that.
Please stop talking. Okay,
a lot of that silence that he's talking about is because I literally wasn't available, right. and then you're so worn out, you might go to sleep when you get home and forget. So it wasn't. Read. Yeah, it
takes back 3
days
later.
And then that's a real thing for people. I don't know if your audience ever experienced this, or if you are. Sometimes you can read something with the intent to respond and then get sidetracked and then completely forget that you didn't respond. And so it was a lot of things on my side going on too, of me trying to figure out how to balance. And then, like you said, the communication piece, that was a growth. Because you alluded to this earlier, we're so many years apart. So we essentially grew up separately. Like only kids, even though we weren't. Right. And then we're a boy and a girl. So it was a lot of differences where...
She used to beat me up, y'all. Anyway, go ahead.
But it was a lot of differences that contributed to how our relationship looks, how communication worked. Like, those were growing pains.
Right.
Because our only commonality, if there's siblings that are in music that feel this, at some point, our only commonality that brought us together during those years was music. Right.
So, everything else was different.
Yeah.
And, you know, we joke amongst each other. Like, we really didn't get friends till we got grown.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because we didn't.
You went around to make them.
Hey, wait a minute. Slow down, you know. But, yeah, I mean, I was unavailable. I know that now. I've been unavailable. Like, you just don't. You don't. Like, that's something that has to click for you.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, kind of circle back to the song.
We digress.
Yeah. The song has been released.
Yes.
And it's such a testament to the actual lyrics. How it came to, I mean, y'all, we could probably have a whole full episode about how the song, because I'll be like, do this, and then
I'll be like, no.
Right. And then, well, that do make sense. And so it was a lot of that. I was like, Sharee, so many things happened. It was supposed to come out on the 28th. Mm-hmm. It didn't come out on the 28th because they rejected the artwork. Mm-hmm.
And they didn't let us know that until several days after they released.
I'm like, so yeah, anyway. So got that fixed, and it's been released.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
This is so weird, but my first emotion was relief.
Yeah.
It was not excitement. I was like, woo, I can finally stop worrying about this and staying up all night. So I was relieved, but immediately after, I went straight into, it's out. All the people over the years that have asked me about this song, they finally can listen to it, so it's really cool.
It's funny, the night that, so once we got the email and everything that what we need to do to fix it and got it fixed, before it came out, I literally dreamed about that all night. Like, I woke up out of my sleep and was like, went to the restroom or whatever, like, please let me stop dreaming about this. And went back to sleep and continued dreaming, like, just the weight of it.
Yeah.
So the relief thing, I was definitely, I definitely can agree with that. But it's out, y'all. It's streaming everywhere.
Please go get it.
We did not 3 versions of it, but it's the actual song. There's a reprise to the song, and then there's a radio edit, which is available now everywhere.
Yeah.
So
now,
everywhere right now. Like, as soon as you finish this, there's gonna be a link at the bottom. You can click on it, go direct to the video. But if that, go to YouTube, iTunes,
anywhere,
Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, all of them, Deezer, all that is there. So I want to kind of before we close this, I want to kind of get into, there's something else in addition to that I would like you to kind of speak to, that it comes with it. So drum roll.
Yeah. So you talking about the bonus So I'm gonna talk. Can I switch this?
Hey.
Can you talk about it, the technical side of everything, because you're better at explaining it, and I just talk about the song itself.
Well, I mean, what am I talking about?
Like how you would go about getting this part. Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the overall thing.
With Reach?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. I'm like, you explain the technical, like what you do, because you're better at it.
We probably should have discussed it before playing about it.
It'd been nice to talk.
Okay, so
that sibling ain't there.
What you mean the technical side?
Like, what you need to do in order to get it.
Okay, bet. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We back.
So, in addition to releasing Awesome God exclusive, there is also a physical product that's coming. The name of your project is
Awesome God. Where's Sharee?
No, the name of the project.
What is Perspectives?
Lord.
Listen, this stuff had me going every which kind of way. Okay,
Perspectives is the name of the actual physical project. It will include Old Me, all versions of Awesome God, and a new song entitled Reach.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is, like I said, you can purchase those physical copies from me or her, because we have them right now, and Sharee's going to be doing some dates here and there, and they'll be available there. So Reach will come out later on this year, but for those that will purchase the product, they get exclusive rights to that song. Yeah. So yeah, it's
and the name
Reach.
Perspectives.
Yes. Reach.
So the name of the project is because each song that's on it has a different vantage point.
I want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So we were trying to think of a title for the project, and she was like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was unavailable. And she was like, help, I need a name. So I couldn't respond. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, when I saw it, I remember driving home. I remember exactly what I was. And I said, you know what? Every song on this project kind of speaks to different parts of your life. Because we had came up with some crazy name that didn't make, and I was like, there's different perspectives of your life. And like, boom, that was it. So it speaks to like I said, Sharee is one of my favorite writers, great writer, and it's in depth to, like, Old Me is about change. Mm-hmm. Awesome God is kind of about being grateful. You know, it's really express that gratitude. And Reach really talks about love, y'all. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. It features 2 artists, Joseph Moore III. Shout out to Joseph, that's my guy. And baby boy Keith, which is so ironic because that's my old student. So it's like a full circle there. Full circle. So yeah, we got a rap, y'all. No.
It's one of those cruising songs.
Definitely. I can't wait for y'all to hear it.
Yeah.
And also a good friend of mine, Aisha McSwain. Yes. Shout out to her. Did background vocals on it. So it's definitely different.
Yeah.
So perspectives. It's by the time y'all see this, it's going to be available. So DM, inbox, text, call, whatever.
Send a pigeon.
And we will actually mail you a copy if you don't, you out of town, whatever. But we'll pull up on you too. So.
We will.
That leads us to this game because we a little deep in this time. I do a game. We're still looking for a title. I'm gonna do a post or something. We need a help.
A
poll. Poll for this game. I'm gonna say a phrase, and whatever comes to mind, I want you to give me your first thought.
So is it like rapid fire?
No, not rapid fire.
Okay.
You can take your time.
Okay.
But don't don't tear. Okay. All right.
Don't be long-winded.
Don't be long-winded. Favorite song?
Ooh. So that changes, but so I'm gonna say right now.
Okay.
Is He'll Be by one of my favorite quartet artists, Lisa Knowles Smith and the Brown Singers. Okay. But it's He'll Be for sure right now.
Because I was really thinking HEALB, and I was like, I ain't never heard that. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite song to sing?
Awesome God.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It gives me
I never guessed that.
Life.
Okay. What do you think the most popular song is, just all time?
Ooh.
I mean, just yours, not, you know what I'm saying?
That's where the who came from. It wasn't the other people.
Okay.
The most popular song of all time for me will probably be You Found Me by One Republic.
Okay. Favorite artist?
Can I give different genres?
Your answers.
Quartet, Lisa Knowles Smith.
Okay.
Contemporary, Jonathan Matt Reynolds.
I knew that anyway. I thought you were going to say somebody else, but go ahead.
No, Jonathan Matt Reynolds. Yeah, that's.
They tell me I sang like.
No, they didn't. They lied to your face. Well, yeah,
told
that's
y'all
it.
she was mean. You see what I'm saying?
That's it.
That's so mean.
I'm sorry. We'll work it out. We'll hook it out later.
About encouraging each other, in affirmation.
You are listen.
Okay.
You great at being Rodrick.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would that be?
Any artist. Jonathan Matt Reynolds.
Okay, that's fair. If you were not doing music, what would you be doing?
What I'm going to be doing.
What's that?
Counseling.
Counseling. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Remind me, because I'm going to forget. Best advice you've ever been given?
I call her Mama Pat. I love her. Can I get two? Because one is by my godmom as well. So I call her Mama Pat, but her name is Patricia Stokes. Mm-hmm. She told me at one of the worst times in my life, she said, "Baby, God don't waste nothing." Mm-hmm. And she said it over and over and over, even though it annoyed me. But I needed to hear that. The second piece of advice was my godmom. Shout out Tina Moss.
Tina! Chocolate cake chicken.
So she told me, she said, "Sharee, you got to learn how to be concerned but not consume."
That's fair. That's good.
Yeah.
Concern, not consume. That's difficult, though. Anyway.
It is.
Most memorable moment?
I mean, saying when you got married is kind of like, I feel like that's typical.
You know, I was sad that day. I wasn't sad. But, you know, I was like I wasn't myself.
Rodrick did not do well with me.
I didn't understand.
Stepping into this lane.
When this happened? Where
are her pigtails?
Yes, anyway.
But
I wasn't sad because John, my boy. That's my guy. Even though we argue all the time.
All the time. That's my guy. But so
hold on, before you answer that, we argue so bad I have to FaceTime him to finish it.
Yes. Yes. And I politely depart.
Yeah.
But but so obviously that. But the most memorable time in my life was the day I felt depression, suicide, and anxiety break off me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a deep. I don't even.
It's
know
a deep answer, but I can't give you like a date.
Yeah, we can come back to that. Most crazy story.
Ooh, Lord, I want to put my business out?
I don't. If it involves. Okay, I don't.
If it involves what?
Go ahead.
It's solely me. It was a one-man show. Okay. So my most embarrassing moment was, this was some years ago. I was still living in Meridian. I was driving to work, and I had on a wig. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself out there. I had on a wig.
Did it fly the one?
And I was driving, and I let down the window. And an 18-wheeler shot by, and when he shot by, that wind snatched that wig off my head, and it went out the window on Highway 20. And I had to return to work scalpless because you didn't go get the wig? I did not. I kept on going, and I returned looking different. They said I couldn't see nothing, I couldn't feel nothing, but I felt the change. I had been changed. Yep.
There's a word for you ladies. Secure your wig.
Secure your wig. And this is before Kiara. This is before Sarah Jace Rock. This is before that. You know, I wasn't on a public stage. Mine was, and I'm pretty sure it scared the 18-wheeler driver half to death.
Somebody probably shot at it.
Yeah. Skunk.
Yeah. Wow. Biggest accomplishment to date.
Biggest accomplishment to date. Releasing music.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 No more lost wigs.
No more lost wigs.
Calm down.
If it can't be secure, I am not wearing it.
Glue.
Yeah. I don't even trust glue. It's got to be sewn.
Woo. We're gonna end this kind of. I'm glad I didn't see that.
I'm glad you didn't either, because. And that's my family loves to clown on you forever.
Available for that.
Yeah.
Future, what you doing now? What's Sharee's plan next? What's next?
My plan is to really promote and give my all to this music.
Y'all heard it.
Because it definitely deserves it. And y'all hold me accountable. I don't even have to tell him because he's going to get on my nerves anyway.
Definitely.
So I definitely want to give my all because it deserves it. And aside from that, it's just finishing school to get my degree.
She's going to be a counselor, y'all. Yeah. Because she thinks she going to give you some advice.
Whether not you ask or not, come get this change.
Sharee seen them paragraph texts, and I be like, you know what? I just can't right now. I need to.
But I've done better.
You have.
I've done better. And that's a lesson. Learn it. Yeah. If people want it, they will ask for it.
Look, I remember we had this conversation not too long ago, and we were talking about a situation, and I had to tell her.
Aggressively.
I maybe did. I'm grateful for that, but I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
Like I just hey, I don't want it. I don't want that right now. I'm good figuring this out where I am. So it is that I think she's gonna be a great counselor, cause somebody gonna pay you to do what you do for free. Anyway, I do want to talk about this before we end. You kind of been an advocate for mental health, and how is that been a blessing? What would you want to say to people that maybe I think creative art. I just said this last night. Man, creatively people that'd be a struggle.
Yeah, they struggle.
And the worst part about that, most people don't understand that.
Right.
And when you're dealing with it, and now you got to help explain it to somebody who really isn't interested in hearing you. They're trying to fix you. That can be tough. So what would you want to speak to that?
So to be specific, I want to be a Christian counselor, and I highlight that because of my own experience. I learned that you can get the help, and the help is available. There are resources for a reason, but the only true healer is God. Right. And so going through that, it's one thing to try to say that, you might know of that. That's something that sounds good to say because it sounds like the church answer. But when you've actually experienced that, it gives you a perspective, but it also gives you a platform to be able to say, no, this God thing is really real. He will really heal you. And that's not to say, because sometimes healing happens instantaneously. Sometimes healing is an everyday process. So that's not to try to box it in or make you feel like if you're struggling, you're not in faith or all this type of stuff that people hear. Yeah. So what I want to say is, or what I want to leave is, God is real. Yeah. And he's able, and he will help you, whether or not he takes it off by his infinite wisdom all in a moment, or every day that is your thorn. His word says his grace is sufficient. He will empower you to do what you need to do. And I've lived it. I've lived both sides, walking in it every day and then getting total freedom from it. And so I would say that first, God is real. The second thing I would like to say specifically to Christians, that if you are struggling mentally, it is not the result of a lack of faith or all the things that sometimes we can negatively hear that adds pressure on top of what you're already dealing with. Even the Bible has several examples of struggles. Right. And so we have this God that understands that. We have this God that has experienced that. And because he has, and he was not overcome with sin, that's the scripture, that we can go to him, we can approach his throne boldly in our time of need and get help. So those two things. Try God. If you tried everything else, that's no shade to the medicine. That's no shade to the counseling. But make sure that your source is the Lord. He's the only one that can satisfy it. And the second thing is, don't let anybody make you feel embarrassed or make you feel less than just because you're struggling. Right. So, yeah.
Which really you just answered the next question I was going to ask. Just, you need those advice to people. Sometimes the advice be so simple, but it be so profound because you're like, man, I never thought about that. Or that makes sense now. So last question for you. How do we find you? Where do we find you? Socially? You can find me on all social platforms. Okay.
I don't like social media, and so I struggle, but I'm going to do better.
Challenge.
Let's change that verbiage. Yeah. I don't struggle. I'm just challenged by it because I'm an introvert. Yeah. So, but I'm going to do better because I'm surrounded by accountability. And I need y'all to hold me accountable. Even y'all. We're going to ignore him, but social media. So on Facebook, it's Sharee Fox. Facebook won't let me change my name. So yes, my name is Sharee Fox-Smith, but on there is Sharee Fox. Instagram is Sharee Fox-Smith 89. And TikTok is Sharee Fox-Smith 89 as well, I believe.
No, it's crazy because I was on my way here. I guess you posted a video on TikTok, and I was like, somebody must hack the phone. It's got to be Jayla or somebody else.
No,
I don't believe
it was I.
Okay, you okay?
I told you I'm trying to do better. Okay. That just show you you can do things by his strength. If you're an introvert, introvertism is not an excuse. You got to show up.
I mean, I'm an introvert too.
Yeah, but you show up way more than I do, so it's not an excuse.
That's true.
Yeah.
So listen, y'all. I hope you all have enjoyed this trip down our family history, and I hope you really just heard some things that we said that are important, I think, for any artist. Sometimes it's harder to work with family.
Yes.
Just because of
how family can be
and how familiar you can be. But I think I'm very proud of Sharee. I try to tell her that most of the time when I think about it.
Y'all pray for him. Yeah. Pray for him.
Hey, she always be my little sister.
Yeah.
It's kind of one stuff.
Oh, that was so sentimental. Let's touch hands. Let's grab hands.
One of the twins. But anyway, I really thank you all for tuning in. We're going to have a performance by Sharee. Please share this with somebody. Reach out. Awesome God streaming now.
Right
Old
now.
Me, been streaming, and Perspectives.
It's coming.
The project is, well, by the time you see this, it's going to be here.
Yeah.
So contact us for that. We would greatly appreciate your support. Until the next time, we've been playing it by ear.
Grew up singing. In the church, my voice was loud. But behind it, the silence was where the pain stood proud. Still had to smile for the ones who looked up to me. So young, so much stress caught the best of me. But then I realized that you were molding me into the vessel that you always knew me to be. So now I can wave at my past, 'cause I'm finally free. And I'll say goodbye to the old me. Sometimes I fell short, other times wanted to quit. 'Cause see, life and its process can be so very hard to get. So many sleepless nights, I felt so alone. So many tears I would cry. I felt like all my hope was gone. But thank God I had angels. They were keeping me until I could see that you always had a plan just for me. So now I can wave at my past, 'cause I'm finally free. And I'll say goodbye to the old me. So I say goodbye to the old me. I say goodbye to the old me. I'll say goodbye to